Welcome to Half the Battle! Today we're going back to the cartoon!
We'll be taking a look at the Great Alaskan Land Rush.
And I gotta warn you straight off the bat, this has one of Cobra's dumber plans in it.
We start off in Washington, D.C., where the Joes are in charge of transporting all valuable historical documents to the new National Archives.
Roadblock, I wouldn't call the Constitution of the United States old trash.
We got the Constitution on board?
Now, normally, I'd question why an elite military unit is in charge of that. But this is the G.I.Joe universe, where Cobra tries to steal crazy crap every week, so I'd say this is just a good precaution. And sure enough, Cobra, with the Baroness in charge of the operation, attacks the convoy. And I have to say, her disguise is just delightful today. What with the hat and flowery dress and all. Strangely enough, they're not after the Constitution or anything like that. They only want the last truck.
We're the only ones who lost our truck.
Yeah, but we weren't carrying anything valuable.
And a bunch of historians just started crying. Look, just because a document isn't worth a lot of money, doesn't mean that it isn't extremely significant.
The thing they actually stole was the Seward file, dealing with the purchase of Alaska by the US from Russia. And we're introduced to this guy, who looks like a used car salesman.
For 30 years I hawked cars in New Jersey. Who'd have thought I'd make my big killing in real estate?
Oh, he actually is a used car salesman.
Well, his character model is right on the money. They go to the governor of Alaska and throw him out of his office, claiming Gurky Potemkin, the car salesman, owns the state.
This is the Great Seal of Alaska. And according to provisions in the Seward Treaty, whoever owns the seal owns Alaska.
Yes, I have notes! What did you expect?
Now, because I'm thorough, and apparently have way too much time on my hands, I had a look at the purchase of Alaska. And this may shock you, but there's no mention of a seal anywhere, nor of any special provisions. Also, this is a seal. This is a seal. Even this is a seal. That I would describe as a cup. It looks like something Harry Potter and Voldemort would fight over, but not a seal.
So, this should be an easy mission for the Joes. Just go to Alaska and kick the idiot out.
That maniac has complete control of the state of Alaska, and there's no legal way to stop him.
Are you goddamn kidding me?
You're telling me that the United States of America, who are all about manifest destiny, would just give up a state if some jackass rolled up with a trinket and said he now owned it?
Here, this is my crimson bottle opener of destiny. It means I own Maine now. So come on, fork it over, assholes.
Dear Lord, this is even more stupid than when Cobra Commander thought he was the rightful king of England because he stole the crown jewels.
Yes, that happened.
See my 50th episode for details. Anyway, in a fake history lesson, we learned the Great Cup of Alaska, I refuse to call that thing a seal, was lost when the ship carrying it, the Russian warship Romanov, disappeared in the 19th century. So the Joes conclude Potemkins must be a fake, and their best option is to search for the real one. Since it looks like a cup, one could say they are on a quest to find the Grail.
Why do I depress myself thinking of better stories?
Meanwhile, the Russians have also learned about the bullcrap going on and ordered the October Guard to go after the real cup too. Though for some reason, they're not called the October Guard here.
If Red October recovered Great Seal first...
Alaska again belonged to Mother Russia.
Yeah, and they're only ever called Red October in this episode here.
No clue why.
So now it's a three-way race to find the cup. The Joes, the Ruskies, and Cobra. The Baroness makes the first move by attacking and shooting down the Joe's transport plane. Naturally, everybody survives this, though it does put them in last place in this race. Luckily, they still have their snowcats that somehow weren't damaged in the crash. And that means it's now time for the Red October, to screw with the Joes. They do this by using hint helicopters to blow up part of the mountains, causing an avalanche that buries the snowcats. Naturally, everybody survives this too, but now they're walking.
I have to pause for a second here for a complete aside.
Look at the background here. This is supposed to be the polar region, right? Do they get many freaking volcanoes there? Or did they accidentally wander into Mordor? They tried to find the October Guard, even though they have helicopters. You could say they are on the hunt for Red October.
That's another story that's better than this one.
Anyway, they find the Russian camp, but strangely, it's deserted. Meal still on the table and everything. Hey, if this would turn into the Thing, I'd be back on board. Sadly, the explanation for the abandoned camp is much weirder. Yes, weirder than the Thing.
And much, much, much more stupid. I hope you're ready for this one, because it's gonna come so far out of left field, it's gonna leave you with whiplash.
Holy mackerel! Cossacks!
The Joes get attacked by 19th century Cossacks. They are being attacked by a cavalry using swords.
What is this? I don't even. At least the Joes have the common decency to be just as shocked about it as I am.
And in case you're wondering, yes, there is an explanation for this.
It's a freaking stupid one, but it's there.
Looks like the Romanov found a safe harbor back in 1867.
And these people must be the descendants of the original crew.
They are descendants of the Romanov crew. You know, I was all ready to call bullcrap on that, thinking that Russian warships wouldn't have women on board to help create descendants. But no, ships from that time could have both women and even children on board. The Leffert, for example, had 53 women and 17 children, families of crew members. So, I guess Starfleet weren't the only ones stupid enough to do that.
I'm not a family man, Riker, and yet Starfleet has given me a ship with children aboard.
And yes, it is stupid, because that ship I just mentioned, the Leffert, was lost with all hands. Anyway, once they arrive in their ice city, because sure why not, the Cossack leader explains the original crew decided to isolate themselves from the world in order to survive.
At this point, again, sure, why not?
They have the actual genuine cup, but don't want anything to do with the outside trouble, not sure why they bother taking prisoners then, and lock the Joes up with their other captives, who happen to be the October Guard. You know, considering these walking anachronisms are still loyal to the Tsar, meeting Soviet Russians from the 80s must have led to some awkward conversations off-screen, as the communists killed the hell out of the Russian royal family. So, our heroes are imprisoned for the rest of their lives. I guess the Kazakhs don't seem to have an endgame here, but our third, or I guess at this point fourth player shows up, as Cobra attacks the ice city of the waterbenders. Shockingly enough, a cavalry charge doesn't do so well against a column of frickin' tanks, and they quickly plow through the town and take the cup. The Cossack leader laments that he didn't listen to the good guys, and so now they lost their Great Seal.
Worst of all, they steal Great Seal. Now Tsar never trust us again.
Huh, I guess the October Guard haven't filled him in yet on the whole communist revolution extravaganza. As you would expect, they now all team up to take on Cobra. They follow the bad guys using dog sleds, and then this happens.
You're not scared, my big friend, are you? Scared? Who's scared?
Yeah, that's Roadblock, but he's got Gung-Ho's voice. They screwed up the character model here, since Gung-Ho is the one with the long-standing rivalry with horror show The October Guard guy. Anyway, they get ahead of the tanks using a shortcut and ambush them. Obviously, a column of heavily armed tanks are no match for a couple of soldiers and a bunch of weirdos with swords, so pretty soon the day is saved.
Or is it?
They still have to get the cup out of there, but fortunately they have a plan.
Have you been keeping the Romanov seaworthy?
But we are still blocked by ice.
How that ship hasn't been crushed by the ice over 100 years, I can't tell you. They use the captured Hiss tanks to laser away the ice so they can set sail. And then it takes about 20 seconds for the Soviets to turn on them and demand the cup, and by extension Alaska, goes back to Russia.
Yeah, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal, etc.
This also just lasts a couple of seconds as they come under attack by Cobra rattlers. But since the cartoon is almost over, this too is quickly dealt with by the arrival of G.I.Joe's Sky Strikers. Now that the Joes have air support, the Reds quickly give in, and this madness can finally end.
Nah, you've earned it.
The Joes confront Potemkin with the Holy Grail and kick him the hell out of there. The end. And dear lord, is that laughing animation horrible. Well, that was the Great Alaskan Land Rush.
How was it?
I'm not prepared to pursue my line of inquiry any further, as I think this is getting too silly.
Quite agree. Silly. Right, get on with it.
Look, I've said this before. A certain suspension of disbelief is essential if you want to enjoy the G.I. Joe cartoon. But the bloody thing has to want to meet you halfway.
Here, they're asking you to accept too many things at once. Not only is there a loophole that lets a person own a state, but it's in the form of a grail, cup, seal, whatever. Come to think of it, it just looks like a cup, but I'm not sure what they tried to depict here. It might be like a stamp to make a seal? And any schmuck can roll up with a fake one, claim Alaska without even the slightest resistance from the US military, or the National Guard, or lawyers, or anybody with common sense. And then the solution involves a secret tribe of Cossacks. It's just too much.
To say nothing of the plot holes.
Though weirdly, this cartoon apparently anticipated some nerd would be complaining over 30 years later, since we get this.
How did you find out about all this?
You don't have
A need to know. Quiet.
play with your toys.
It's like they're literally telling me to go F myself. I kinda love it.
Oh, and I'll give him this. There's actually one joke in here that really made me laugh.
When I get my hands on those Red October wackos, I'll make them wish Karl Marx was Groucho's brother.
I love Gung Ho.
Overall, though, the whole story was just too much to swallow. Sure, there's some fun parts, but it has too many problems.
Well, that about wraps it up. So, like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing. As for next week, is there something coming up?
Hello, G.I. Joe fans, and welcome to Cobra Convergence 3. Every year in the month of July, the G.I. Joe fan community comes together to create videos about G.I. Joe's enemy, Cobra. This year's Cobra Convergence will be bigger and better than ever. More creators, more videos, all through the month of July 2018.
Retro Blasted 4 BX257 Half the Battle G.I. Joe Dryden Comic Tropes Brian Shearer SEO Toy Reviews My Side of the Laundry Room The Human Mechanism The Skull Reviews Mr. 1013 HCC 788.
This year we are looking at Cobra toys and characters that we think are underrated but still deserve your attention. You will receive a Cobra related video from each of these creators, so make sure you check out all of them. You don't want to miss anything. Please join us as we kick off the 3rd year of Cobra Convergence. Cobra Commander wants you. Cobra!
I'll see you then!